crafty friends, this is card number 23 in Full Deck Challenge 3. I have my constant element, which is my postage stamps. I have a few, I'm not sure yet which ones or how many I'm going to use. I've stuck to a few in neutral tones too. My carryover item from last week will be the stamping with the script stamp. The elements I'm using today are from your creative studio. The link will be in the description box below. This week's prompt was repeat, and I've decided to use the 10 of diamonds card as my repeated item. I happen to have a jumbo one and two smaller ones in the same number and suit. Let's see if I can get this to work. I did have a few questions in my comments and in the group about what I meant by the prompt repeat, and I really just leave it for everyone's interpretation. There's no right and wrong interpretation of the prompt. It is whatever you think it is. You could have repeated a color, you could have repeated a shape, a die cut, like me, a card, a technique, or even you could have gone and redone one of the cards you've already done. You could have repeated the entire card. Anything really goes. So I don't tend to explain the prompts, as I don't want you to be restricted to my thoughts and ideas. I've started with my standard size card, and I'm doing my mini collage on there with some of the papers from the box. I've torn them into smaller pieces. They're beautiful autumn colors. And I'm just going to stick them around the middle of the card. I'm using Mod Podge for this, and I am applying Mod Podge over each piece of collage paper too. It's not too late to join in the Full Deck Challenge. You can join at any time, on any deck and with any card. Rules are few. It's really more just a way for you to experiment, try new things, while you're working on a very small area, so it's not overwhelming, and I think it's pretty doable. I'm also going to take you often outside your comfort zone. If you're on Facebook, you can join my group there. You just have to search Full Deck Challenge Group. And the prompt for next week is thread. I'm still busy with my mini collage. I've moved it also over to the right. I'm going to leave the top left of the card showing. And I'm going to use my postage stamps as part of the mini collage. They're going to be as part of the background. Sometimes they're the focal point, sometimes not. I'm going to dry all this Mod Podge well, and then I'm going to trim off all that excess. I love adding masking tape to my projects, especially art journaling and my collages. I just think it brings a beautiful texture and interest, so I'm going to add a few pieces to this piece too. So the standard size card is sort of going to be the main card, I'm thinking. So I'm going to do the other cards with a little bit of some kind of decoration or embellishment. The original idea was to have the standard size card as the focal point. It didn't really quite work out like that, but let me show you what I did. For the jumbo card, I've added a piece of tissue paper first. This is the kind of tissue paper you get for gift wrapping, and I'm attaching it to the card with some Mod Podge. I always add a layer of Mod Podge over the tissue paper. This just helps to make it more sturdy, as tissue paper is pretty flimsy and it could tear if I decide to add any kind of paint or wet media. Trimming off the excess tissue paper, I'm only going to add a few elements onto this jumbo card. I've got a couple of the floral stickers from the Your Creative Studio box. I'm going to add those. I love the colors of the florals. The stickers are a little transparent, so they're not overpowering and they're quite soft. I'm just playing around now with the different cards and the elements, just trying to get an idea of how I'm going to put this all together. I'm going to add tissue paper to this medium-sized card too, and I'm going to do this one the same as the jumbo card. So I'm putting on the tissue paper, I'm going to add a botanical flower. I'm going to have those two with a similar design. These colors are giving me a vintage vibe, so I'm going to use a little bit of Distress ink just around the edges to enhance the colors a bit. I'm using the color Vintage Photo. I'm also adding a few of the postage stamps onto the smallest card. I've also decided to leave the 10 of diamonds showing on all 4 cards. I think I'm happy with how everything looks so far. I'm going to stick down the floral stickers. I then did decide to tone down the red of the 10 of diamonds with a little bit of gesso. I felt it was a little too bright. But only on the 3 cards, not on the standard size one. And then to incorporate the white of the gesso, I decided to add some white splatter on the standard card. I've dried that well, and now I'm going to decide how I'm going to stick these all together. My original idea was to sort of pile them on top of each other like this, but then I felt you couldn't really see the elements of each card. I became very indecisive at this point. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to add my carryover, which is the script stamp stamping. After much back and forth, I decided to attach the cards in a way to make them like a concertina. In this way, you could open up the concertina and see each card. Nothing will be stuck behind anything else. And since I've already used masking tape, I thought masking tape would be a great way to join these together. It's super easy, and you can also unstick if you have made a mistake and it won't rip anything. So I'm starting with a standard sized card, attaching it to the larger one on the far right, and I'm putting masking tape on either side so that it holds well. Because the concertina was a last minute decision, if I had to do this again, I would decorate the back of at least the 3 smaller cards so that when you open it up, you see a design there too, maybe a quote or a little poem or something. But for now, let's just work on the fronts and finish the whole idea. So, something totally out of left wing, but I like the way it turned out. I really hope you enjoyed this video and were inspired to create your own. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Don't forget to subscribe and also hit the little bell so you're notified every time I upload new content. Thanks again for watching. Happy creating, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.